All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live here with you on a Friday, heading into the weekend. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian as we give you all the action for tonight. Massive Friday night. We have college football championship games. We have a huge NBA slate. There are hockey games tonight. We have NFL games to look at this weekend. There's college basketball. Doug, is there anything else? Am I forgetting anything? You want to get into the World Cup draw that happened this afternoon? I mean, the guys, I watched a little bit with Nigel Steven, the guys this afternoon. They did a great job. It took forever for them to finally get to the draw, but it was fun. We have a lot to do, Doug. It's great to see you.
Yeah, really important, busy weekend. College hoops, stacked matchups tomorrow as well. You mentioned the draw. I was not watching it. That is not my wheelhouse, but I was enjoying all the Twitter commentary for sure. But this is, I mean, there's 12 NBA games, tough card as well in the association. We're going to hit the ice. Lots to get through, but these are the opportunities we appreciate as a bettor because we get to pick off the book and try to find value.
That is what we try to do, that's for sure. And we have a lot to do, so let's get rolling because there is college football championship games at the doorstep this evening. And I guess we have to start, Doug, with the game that has, without question, the most juice to it. And that is the American Conference Championship game between North Texas and Tulane. Of course, the winner of this game is going to be in the college football playoff. That is what is the deal. There's a lot on the table. Both of their head coaches are leaving for new jobs, but both are going to be coaching their teams tonight. As of right now, Doug, Tulane at home, this game is at Tulane Stadium, getting 2.5 from North Texas at Bet Rivers. 66.5 is the total.
Really important. And for all the games that are today, they're on home field.
Yep.
Tomorrow is neutral site, so just keep that in mind. So the @ sign really applies. Tulane's been great at home over the years. North Texas, the Mean Green favored here, and I'm not sure why. I guess if they watched the Ole Miss game where Tulane got boat raced and after getting a lot of steam, that would make sense. But I don't see how North Texas is going to force a punt at all by the Green Wave. I think Tulane's been really impressive. Remember, their coach is going to Florida. This is not I like North Texas. I love Eric Morris. I love their quarterback. So much to like. Their package deal going to Okie State, one would assume. But I still don't think they should be favored. That being said, it's a high total, some wonkiness. I think we're going to see a 2-point conversion. So I'd have to grab the points, if anything. I think that's the only way to play it. I can't lay points on the road here with North Texas. Remember, they were a chic pick, went to South Florida, hosted South Florida. They started as a dog, closed as a favorite, lost by double digits. So big games, the Mean Green have not been so mean.
I'm not gonna lie, Doug. I have no idea who's gonna win this game tonight. I am completely this is one. It is a complete coin flip to me. I could see either team winning. No clue. So I want to go after the total, maybe. So this is one of these times where I'm going to ask you, am I nuts? Now, I'm not dumb. I looked at all the North Texas games. I understand it. They're all racetrack games. I mean, 48-38, 56-31. I mean, these games are in the 70s, 80s, up, and away. It's 66.5 tonight. Now, there was supposed to be some weather, some rain. We do have some boots on the ground down there, and it sounds like maybe that's not going to be the case. I mean, this is a game with a lot of importance, Doug. Is there anyone who's going to play a lick of defense when the money's on the table here at the end of the game? Is 66.5 too big for a game with so much importance?
Regular season is any indication, the answer to that is no. They want to go up and down, but again, things get a little different, right? In the playoff, so much at stake, championship game. So I can certainly see, I don't know, a little bit less recklessness on offense. And North Texas was certainly reckless a year ago. Like that game, I think it was at Navy or Army. It was Army. And then this year they got revenge. It's what they do. It's what got them there, but they go for it a lot at midfield. I don't know. Are they going to be more inclined to punt? Do they trust their defense? I like aggressiveness. The total feels right. The side does not. I think Tulane should be like a 1.5 point favorite.
I love rooting for lots of points. It just seems like, I mean, we get really a spot for the playoff going to be 48-45. I'm not sure on that one. I might, feel it out, Doug. It might be one of those things there. Let's see how the first 5 or 10 minutes in the first quarter go. And if it feels like it's going to be a racetrack, then get on board before it gets in the 70s or 80s live.
I mean, you don't need it 48 foot, you just
Yeah.
need, 34, well,
Right.
37, 34, something like 37, 30.
38-31 works, right? You're right in that wheelhouse. Both teams getting into the 30s for us tonight. They do have a special for you at Bet Rivers this evening in this game. First half frenzy. At least 35 first half points scored in North Texas versus Tulane, boosted from plus 110 to plus 150. 5 tutties you would need, I guess, at that, or 4 tutties and a bunch of field goals to get us to 35 points in the first half. If you think it's going over 66 and a half, I guess not a bad boost to try to pick up on.
I can see it. Obviously, it's going to be points, and maybe they start out tight, or maybe the second half things slow down, and the first half's going to be business as usual for both teams in terms of what they've demonstrated all regular season.
There you go. Tulane and North Texas in the American coming up tonight. All right, the other team that has a chance tonight to maybe sneak in the back door for the college football playoff, James Madison, little Fun Belt championship game here tonight as Jimmy Mad, the Dukes, laying 23.5 against Troy. And the total's only 46.5. So this is one of these, you got a huge spread at 23, but a total at 46. Is it a smash job for James Madison tonight, Doug? I kind of think it is.
I think it is too. So that's going to be cold weather. Okay. That's not good for the team from Alabama. Troy cannot run the ball. The QB has been pressured all season. They have a bad offensive line. I think like one of the most, teams with the most sacks allowed. I don't see how James Madison doesn't finish this off. I know Zignetti and everything, but he built a program, and Chesney's been awesome taking it over. And this team's, and I wonder if they may need style points here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to push it over the edge, because if Duke wins, they might be some stuff. It's going to be Duke versus the Dukes to getting into the playoff. And I kind of want to lay it with James Madison. They've been all business all season, very reliable. They were in that Louisville game earlier this year too. So I think they're going to be, I think they've had sort of like, I don't know, step up games, if you will, like the Louisville game. I think that this is going to be pretty one-sided. I'm not afraid to lay the number because, again, I think they might step on the gas at the end.
I'm with you. I think they're looking to, you said it's style points. This is potential style points. And they also have a coach going out the door, right, Doug? And I think you get a big effort final game for him. Where's he going? UCLA, right? The Madison's coach is going to UCLA, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think you might have a nice going away party for him as well, which might even, if Duke ever won tomorrow night, get them into the college football playoff. So we're both like that with the Fun Belt in the title game. We'll go next to UNLV. UNLV will visit Boise State, Mountain West Championship. Boise State minus 5.5, 59 flat. I've even got right now on the app up to 59.5 this total. Same thing. It looked like there was going to be some weather, some rain in the forecast. Maybe it's clearing up a little bit now, but usually, Doug, these two teams, it's off to the races and Boise always beats them.
I don't understand why this number is what it is, especially when the Rebels have such a bad defense. So I'm really torn on this game. Now, there has been some steam that's come on the Broncos. Now, their quarterback's coming off injuries, expected to play, but one would assume rust and things like that. But it is getting steamed up. So now this number looks more realistic. It was bigger when they played on the Smurf turf earlier this year, and Boise won going away in the second half. I think UNLV led at some point in the third quarter, and then it was all Broncos the rest of the way. Give Dan Mullen a lot of credit. This team has answered a lot of fading, let's call it that, steam, whatever. Everybody was on Hawaii a couple Fridays ago. Nope, UNLV wire-to-wire beatdown. When they went to Miami of Ohio, now Quinn got hurt in that game, but still, UNLV came back in the second half. Their quarterbacks, dual threat, been really solid all year. I think it's Boise State or pass. The numbers gotten away from them, but overs also seems like UNLV can't stop a nosebleed. So not that anyone can, to be honest. I've never been able to. Tilt your head back. I think that's the one thing that works. But yeah, no, it's over or Boise State or pass.
Boise outscored them 28-7 in the second half in the first meeting. So they beat them by 21 in the second half in that game, which that game got in the 80s. I think it was like 56-30 something in that game the first time around. So I think it's over.
How do you not bet the over in this game, right? I mean, bad weather, something like that. Sometimes that just favors the offense more so because the footing, right? They know the route.
Right.
Quarterback knows the route. The receiver knows the route. Defender does it. It's slippery. I don't know, man. UNLV's been okay outdoors in some spots, but this could get ugly. 46-20, 46-28.
So I think you're right. I think you lean more to laying it with Boise than the over, maybe. Maybe it's better Boise going in that direction. Because what if they, that what if it is 41-17 or something? I know that's right on the number, but you'd just be getting underneath it in terms of the total tonight.
Again, the quarterback's come back from injury. Matson could be rust. I mean, there is that, but UNLV doesn't stop anyone.
Yeah. That's the biggest issue. They stink on defense. So Mountain West. And the other one for tonight will be the Conference USA title game between Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State, the home team here, but Kennesaw, the road favorite, -2.5. Now, they just played a couple weeks ago, November the 15th, and Jacksonville State beat them 35-26. This total is at 60.5 tonight.
And that same location, too. That was in Jacksonville State.
Yep.
I got no opinion. I know people who want +3 with the Cox here, and fine. I think there's going to be other games to bet where they all kick off at the same time, right? And so I'm not in a rush to bet this one because I don't have a really good feel. I mean, here's the thing, okay? How many games are there usually on a weekend? Like 50, 40, yeah. Right? On a Saturday, we pick off like 6 games. So if you do the ratio, you're betting like 15%, maybe 6 out of 40 or something like that. So if there's only like 5 games tonight, you really should only be betting one of them, right? So if you want action on a couple games, this is probably the game you should lay off unless you've been betting this conference all season.
That is it for tonight. And I was thinking Kennesaw this morning, Doug, just as the short road favorite. I talked to a couple people that watched the first game and I don't know.
Did you get a text?
There. I did not get a text as like, go and take this. No, I did not get one of those. But I got a few, I don't know, Jacksonville State might be the side tonight type of text. I did get a bit of those. So I'm going to probably stay away because, as you said, I'm probably going to be involved in the other games more, like the Tulane game, maybe even. I'm a glutton for punishment, Doug. I'm going to be involved some way in that UNLV Boise game. I can't stay away from the Mountain West game.
There's always in game. If you want to just dip your toe in later, you can wait.
Can always go and do that. All right, so college football. Now, remember, yesterday we talked about all of Saturday's games. Look at the crooked chef checking in. Gibbs, baby. Yes, we will get to Gibbs right now as we're about to start the NFL. What a night for him out of the backfield. Remember, yesterday we talked about all of the games on Saturday. Big 10, ACC, SEC, Big 12, and even the MAC game. So, Doug, I know at least at some point either tonight or probably tomorrow morning, I will put that back out on social media. I'll even mark the times. I'll do the work for everybody, Doug, of what times in it is when we talk about the college football games for Saturday so that everybody can go back and check that out.
All right. Look at you. Heavy lifting, doing the Lord's work.
I have to do it. I just do. And, of course, if you like what you'd have to go and subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios YouTube channel. If you do that, if I send you that way, you need to go subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube. So that way you can watch all of our other shows as well, including released earlier today, Betting Weekly Extra Time. Dan Roebuck, Steve Wiss, and James Eastham as they preview Week 15 in European soccer, including Napoli versus Juventus coming up this weekend. So Betting Weekly Extra Time on the channel, and our show yesterday, Betting Weekly Live, the PM edition, which has all the college football for Saturday. So make sure you go and check all of those out. Let's get to the NFL. Week 14, which of course started last night. Lions 44-30 win over the Cowboys in Detroit. I mean, that's what we all want, right, Doug? To get the game at a big total. You had lots of opportunities with props, touchdowns, everything else. And sure enough, it gave us that with 70-plus points being scored. And Gibbs got there for us on the receiving end.
We touched on it, and I said Detroit could be a little tricky with just going for it, long drives, and it was playing out that way, right? 3-3 early on. Campbell had to punt after a field goal after a sack and then a punt, so he must have just been fidgety because he wanted to go for it, but he just couldn't in those two circumstances. So it actually started out like it was going to trend under one of those games. Pickens playing terribly, the offense not clicking. And I thought both defenses were flying around early, but sure enough, things started letting it fly, and then Gibbs takes off. I mean, he's just such an incredible weapon that, points, but at least we saw how a game involving one of those teams could go under, right? We saw how. But again, when they play each other, that's not the time you want to get to the alt unders. But I think we might have an opportunity later. I mean, some of these Lions games do go stone unders.
They do. It does happen for them, but it was a fun game last night. And Gibbs left no doubt. I know there was a questionable play on the first drive, but then he blew through it anyway. It didn't matter whether they wanted to count that as a run or as a pass.
That swing pass.
That swing pass that was behind the line of scrimmage, and they ended up counting it as a run. Ridiculous. All right, the rest of the games for this weekend, and there's a lot of huge games. Teams that are going to take over division leads. And we've got a lot of injury updates, too. It sounds like Herbert's going to play Monday night for the Chargers. J.J. McCarthy's going to be back for the Vikings. And Sauce Gardner's going to be out for the Colts. And I'll start there. Colts at the Jaguars on Sunday. Of course, this game now, the winner will be in the driver's seat in the AFC South. They'll get to 9 wins. I saw, of course, this has been around all week. The Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. They are 1.5-point road favorites. They've kind of been on fumes the last few weeks. Totals 46.5, Doug.
I should just call the Colts-Jags game the Survivor Bowl every time. I feel like that has just burned so many survivors, including myself, over the years. Now, both of these teams are competent and going for a division title, but usually one of them are the punching bag. And it's like, Colts always get burned there. I want no part of this. Maybe a teaser with the Jags. That's how you take advantage of these types of numbers. It's just a really tricky situation. Like the Colts are, I wonder, coming apart at the seams, peak too early, right? We know teams realize that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Not that they're into load management like the NBA, but there's only one bye in each conference. And the naive teams like the Colts come storming out of the gates like they're wrecking ball and world beaters, and probably teams like the Eagles are just sitting back and chuckling, you just wait. And I think they're hitting that proverbial wall. The problem is I just don't trust the Jaguars. They've been shaky. I'm surprised every time they win consecutive games. So I just can't back them here. But I do worry about that Colts defense. Worry a little bit about, Dimes hasn't been the same since a little nicked up, no sauce. I'm not in a rush to lay points on the road with just how they've looked. If this were September or October, I'd be all in on that.
Yeah, Jones looked like he barely walked last week. Now, give him credit. He got through the game against Houston, and it's not like they didn't move the football. They did a little bit, but I can't trust them, and I certainly can't trust the Jags. I do not want to go and back them. But you bring up a point, maybe just looking at this for the entire weekend. If you like teasers, Doug, now there's a lot of really teasable type lines this week. I mean, there's a lot of games in the 6 to 7, 7.5 on the high end that you can bring down. There's a lot of games in the 1 and 2s that you could bring up. It seems like a really good weekend if you're a teaser fan to get involved with a lot of crazy stuff.
There are some attractive options here, and you got to play with the numbers. If you like a bunch of 7-point favorites or something like that, look at Moneyline Parlay Juice for something else. There's ways to tweak this and play around because it is a numbers game. It's so much of betting is more than it is sort of handicapping the actual team or the situation. But certain weekends lend themselves to teasers, right? Just the matchup. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. And I think we have that this weekend.
Certainly do. Next, the two teams at the top of the AFC North, Steelers and the Ravens, getting together for the first time this year. And a lot of these matchups, especially these 3 division ones, it's the first time these teams are meeting. The Colts and the Jags are going to play again in a couple weeks in Indy. The Steelers and the Ravens are playing this week, and then they play again the last game of the season. Ravens -6 at home. 42.5 is the total. Lamar didn't practice yesterday. Then he was back practicing today. I guess he got his foot stepped on or something on Wednesday. He hasn't looked good. The Ravens as a whole haven't looked good. The Steelers haven't looked good. Is this line a little too high for a rivalry, Doug, that usually these are very low scoring, close to the vest games?
Really want to find a way to bet against both teams in this one. Maybe both team totals under or something. I lean Ravens, but I've been burned in this situation before. You're right. These games come out, play a lot closer, but this Steelers team is unraveling. I mean, Tomlin, I don't even know if he's going to survive the season. This the way things are going and all the rumors surrounding what's going on with the team. Rodgers looks terrible. Now they got to go to Baltimore, who's just aching to get back on track. Now, is Lamar going to all of a sudden figure it out? I can't guarantee you that. But 6 is a lot in the NFL. I'm in no rush to lay it, but I don't want the dog here either.
Ravens under 23.5 at +102. Steelers under 17.5 at -108 at Bet Rivers. The unders for both of those.
Fun stuff.
That'd be a lot of fun. Get involved in dueling team unders in the same game. Just root for misery the whole entire day. NFC North also fighting for first place. The Bears and the Packers. They're playing twice in the next 3 weeks. This time in Green Bay. Packers -6.5. Total at 44.5. Doug, I don't know if I can go after the Bears. They've been in every game. They've won most of them.
What more do you want? What more do you want from them?
I that's what I'm saying. Like I can't go after them here. I backed them last week against the Eagles and they got home for me. I can't go and run and play the Pack. I got to take the Bears this week. I have to.
Every sharp's going to go broke betting against this team. It's crazy. They just keep covering, man. And sometimes they got lucky and won outright and things like that. But they've been an absolute beast. They've covered 3 straight. Against the spread this year, they're 8-4 ATS. That's after starting out 0-2. So they're 8-2 in their last 10 ATS. Ben Johnson's got something rolling. I just wonder, with the shirt coming off in the celebration, is that the time to fade? Is this the flat spot, the letdown spot once the shirt came off?
Well, I wouldn't take it off this Sunday. It's going to be like 15 degrees in Green Bay for this. And does that maybe lean us to an under with a very, very cold late after? I mean, pretty much night. I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be dark by the time they kick off. 44.5. Packer D really good at home. Feels underish to me, Doug.
Bears defense, you want to bet an under?
That's true. They're not very good either. Yeah, that's probably not the way. I think I'll just stick with the Bears.
It is a fairly high number for like that kind of weather and stuff. The Packers offense did look good, but that was in a dome on Thanksgiving. Feel like the total's right. I think if anything, I think you have 2 ways. I think Bears are just going to be in a rock fight or they get rolled. I don't think this number's landing 10. Let me put it that way.
There you go. Sunday night, the Texans, one of the hottest teams in the NFL, as they have fought themselves all the way back now to 7-5. And here are the Chiefs, 6-6 at home in prime time, laying 3.5, total of flat 42.
I think the Chiefs are going to be down 3 offensive linemen against. This is not the defense you want to have 3 offensive linemen. I think you got to take the hook. The Chiefs, okay. We know who they are now. Texans are no prize. This is an under. Like, if I've seen an under, this is an under. But I have to take the extra hook here.
It's under for me. I know we brought this up earlier in the week when we did the Tuesday, kind of looking ahead. This game has 20-17, 16-13 type of game to it. Like you said, the Texan defense has been so good and the Chiefs are down O linemen. I feel like the Chief D is good enough to be able to hold CJ Stroud. I mean, that Texan offense isn't great despite this the winning streak that they've been on.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Under, baby. Sunday night in Kansas City. All right. Any props for this weekend. Actually, you know what? I'll do this first. Texans money line. Chiefs are cooked. How about that? NC man right there saying the Chiefs are finished. Ravens Steelers. Both teams to lose. BTTL. Both teams to lose.
That's for those who don't know. That's a acronym sort of joke off soccer, where you can do both teams to score.
You can.
BTTS. That's well done. Well done, Dave Adams.
Before I do the props, because I obviously have touchdowns like always. Is there any other of this mess on Sunday you like? I mean, Titans, Browns, Seahawks, Falcons. I know I told you I love the under in the Bengals, Bills, Saints, Bucks, Jets and Dolphins, Commanders, Vikings. You did say you were involved in that one too. So anything else in this slate on Sunday besides the heavy games?
I like Minnesota. I think they're going to win the game.
Okay.
Ugly game. I like the Rams as well. And I think the Raiders first half is a really good play. I think that kind of an emotional win on a Sunday night, it's really hard to get back off the mat. And the Raiders are a complete mess. But if they're playing a defense that's not like fired up or whatever, then Geno has time to throw. He's got powers. He's got a million weapons. I think the Raiders can be functional for the first half.
Joey Bosa out for the Bills too, as they are kind of real walking wounded going in. And then they lost one of their cornerbacks because they thought they were getting Darius Slay, and he decided not to play for them. So the Bills have a couple issues on defense. They're just going to run the ball anyway. They're going to milk the clock the entire day.
There's not a lot of games I want to watch this weekend.
Right.
I mean, if you had to pick Dolphins, Jets, Titans, Browns, Commanders, Vikings. Oh,
those are ugly. Now, look, I think the top end is real good with these games to decide who's going to be in first in these divisions. But you're right. The middle to bottom end of these games, they're ugly. A lot of them are really ugly. I'll give you 3 touchdowns as always. I like Mark Andrews for the Ravens. Seems to always score against the Steelers. So I'm factoring that in. Plus 175 for him. Jacoby Myers has been getting a lot of gas since he got traded to the Jaguars. And he's been close to the end zone a bunch of times. Plus 220. I think he's got one since he joined there. Plus 220 seems a little high for a guy who's been getting a lot of targets from Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to go there. And I can't believe I'm taking this last guy, Doug. A.D. Mitchell for the Jets. Believe it or not, since they put Tyron in a couple weeks ago, A.D. Mitchell is like a target machine and a scoring machine. Plus 240 for A.D. Mitchell for the Jets on Sunday. Let's go.
That actually doesn't surprise me because you know what Tyrod Taylor is? He's an actual NFL quarterback. You know what Justin Fields is not an NFL quarterback. And A.D. Mitchell has the speed. The targets are there. He's just got to catch the football. Then when he does, hold on to it as he crosses the goal line, because he did not do that for the Colts in L.A., and that's what ultimately cost him his tenure in Indianapolis. So I like this. I thought A.D. Mitchell needed a clean slate. Obviously, you shouldn't write a guy off in his career for one bad mistake, but it makes sense. But the Jets are still the Jets. You got to be careful. But that's also why you're getting plus 240.
That is why you are getting it, because the Jets are always the Jets. You have to factor that in if you're ever going to make any kind of bet involving them, side total or a player prop otherwise. 2017 seems high for KC and Houston. I'm thinking, Steve, I'm fine with any of that. 17-10, 17-13, those all work. Whatever's under 42 works for me in Kansas City and Houston. I'm perfectly good there. All right, NFL, big weekend ahead, week number 14. NBA, what a monster night this is, Doug. 12 games in the NBA tonight? You got to be kidding me. We'll start with the TV doubleheader, which is on Prime, and the Lakers and the Celtics, a tradition unlike any other in the NBA. Of course, the Lakers last night with the win in Toronto, LeBron, unselfish as always, dishing into the corner to Hachimura for the game winner and not going for the 10 points, which was, what was it, Doug? Like 1,200 games or something? What was LeBron?
1,297 since January 5th, 2007. So coming up on 19 seasons.
And unselfish from LeBron. Now, I just went to look. I guess Luka didn't get the Concorde back from the baby birth. He's not going to be in there.
The bird
tonight.
Was not gassed up in time, so he will not be playing tonight. And by the way, the NBA deserves every bit of this, scheduling both the Lakers and Celtics on back-to-backs with travel. They
Ugly.
get every bit of LeBron being out and everything. Now, Luka, obviously, who could, you can't plan for that, but LeBron back to back. You made your bed.
That's it. Celtics are -8 in this game. This is just after 7 o'clock East. 228 is the total.
Yeah, this one's a little tricky for me because I was looking at Austin Reeves' points prop because he's an absolute animal when Luka's out of the game. And he went for 44, I want to say, last night. But back-to-backs are tough, and he's not necessarily just like gone off no matter what in back-to-back. So he's sitting at 31.5, 32.5. The problem is, I think it's going to be right around the number. The Celtics play track meets and want to get up and down. They can drop 150 if they have to, like they did against the Wiz. I lean over, but I don't want to pull the trigger. But it's certainly something that has my eye. And moving forward, every time Luka's going to be out, that's something. Now, when LeBron and Luka are out, and it's a team that might care on defense, then Reeves is going to have to pass a little bit. In terms of the side, I think I lean Boston here. A little bit of a hangover with all the hoopla and the dramatic ending for the Lakers. I think the Celtics jump on them early.
Celtics jump on them early tonight. First game there on Prime with the Lakers and the Celtics. The nightcap for the TV doubleheader just after 9:30 East. In OKC, it's the Mavs and the Thunder. Of course, the Thunder now 21-1 as they get ready for Dallas tonight. And it is a big one. 15.5 and a 228.5 total.
Just remarkable that remember when the Warriors had their start and like the world stopped, Sports Center, live but look-ins, and I guess no one cares what's going on in Oklahoma City. It's just bizarre because the college football playoff was also going on then too, and it was all about the Warriors. I mean, they were the defending champs and everything. I get it, but man, I think this is interesting with Klay Thompson props. He's been like so much better off the bench in terms of his 3-point makes, his points. The only concern is if it's a blowout, he's not going to play the fourth because he's old. Also, the perimeter defenders that the Thunder have. So I've been going back and forth. I think he sneaks over this, but when they play bad teams like the Pelicans and some others, that's when you want to bang Klay Thompson, his overs, if he's coming off the bench. Because what they did is they moved the other Nebhard to point guard. They moved Cooper Flag off the ball, and they got nice pieces. And then Klay comes off the bench and just feels more comfortable, and he's not going against starting guys. And so I got to hold my powder for this game, but that's something for everyone to keep in mind, make a mental note of.
Make a mental note going forward. That is a big.
But the side is, I'd lay it before I took it. I mean, the Thunder can just go in waves, man. It can be a close game and then just finish strong. And I think the Mavs off a big win, right? They're off a win on the road. So
I was going to say Mavs have been playing a little better. Mavs have been
they're much more competent. Thankfully, they don't have Cooper Flag in the point guard role.
Right.
This could be a little bit of a flat spot for Dallas. They've won 3 in a row. That's right. They just beat Miami.
Yeah.
So Clay's better at home. I don't know if the Stallion is going to road games. Maybe that's a superpower. I don't know. He's very happy. He's very happy and at peace. And John Morant and him getting into it. I like how Klay was just even keel and sort of called him out and told him to basically shut up.
Klay. No, I don't think Megan's making the road trips.
Is it the Stallion or the Stallion?
I think it's the. I am not as big on today's pop culture. The 9 and the 4-year-old really won't allow me to do that. But I mean, they're still, so I'm not really quite in with the Megan Thee Stallion for it all. All right. Other games tonight, Doug. There you go. I showed how much I'm in trouble with the 2 young kids in terms of everything that's going on today. The Blazers on this long East Coast trip, and they've actually had a pretty good start to it. They could have won the game in Toronto. They did win in Cleveland. Now they're in Detroit tonight to see the Pistons. They're catching 7.5, 235.5 the total.
Yeah, I wish there was another team in town and it was like a little worse and they weren't on a roll and you could get like 11.5 because I think the Pistons are hitting a wall. This is a team that started out really strong, but if you look how they're playing lately, they're just kind of hanging on the very end of these games. And I don't think there's any sort of, their regression. They're not that good. I think they're really good. I just think there's a fatigue component here. I think 7.5 feels like a little too many points. The problem is it's just not a great spot for the Blazers. They're off a big win. I just think it's a bet against Detroit. I think they're hitting a wall here. I just don't think they're going to rip off a bunch of covers in a row right now.
Elsewhere, Charlotte is in Toronto. Of course, Toronto played last night as well. We talked about the game with the Lakers. They are 7.5 against the Hornets. Now, Hornets beat them last week, right, Doug? That was an overtime game.
Yeah.
Hornets beat the Raptors. 229.5 is the total.
A little revenge. Charlotte, though, back-to-back games, but they're starting to play a little better. They won 2 games before the back-to-back losses. Obviously, this Toronto team means business. They have eyes on the playoffs. They just lost to the Lakers last night at the gun with, LeBron passing to Rui Hachimura. Really exciting game, back and forth, lead changes and whatnot. I think Raptors probably get it, the little revenge factor, probably get right, but it is back-to-back, so, and 7.5 is a big number, so it's a pass, but it's Raptors or pass for me.
Raptors or pass this evening. Elsewhere, maybe some player stuff. What do you got? Podol coming back tonight, right? For the Raptors.
Pirtle's back for Toronto, so that's big. It was a rest management day, so that was he set out the Laker game, but he's going to play tonight, and so that bodes well. I think with this Miami game, I think it's all about Norm Powell for Miami. Basically, Hero hasn't really fit into this team. I touched on it earlier in the week. This team was like Miami. The ball's popping, they're up and down. A bunch of finds the open man 3-pointer. Well, Tyler Hero comes and he's the focal point of the offense. They run the high pick and roll, and I just think he's been clogging up the offense a little bit. But this Magic team leaves a lot to be desired. Now they just lost at home to the Spurs, I believe. But it's like Wagner, Bane, and Suggs are their biggest offensive weapons. And I just don't think I actually know I can't lay 5.5 against a Miami team that has firepower. The problem is I don't know what's going to happen with Norm Powell. Is he back? Do we know that yet?
As I see, the latest update 4 hours ago is that he's available to play tonight. Norm Powell available to play.
So if like Hero were out, that would be great. He's doubtful tonight. So I love the Heat in that regard because I just think they can get back to the style they want to play. Which is the ball popping and everything. So this number does feel pretty high, man. That Spurs game went under. But 241.5 feels high. Cornette with the big block, by the way, to prevent overtime, the layup of Franz Wagner. I like the Heat here, plus 5.5, if you can confirm Hero's out.
Now, let me ask if this matters at all. I'm not sure if it does. I'm not sure if the players care or not. Obviously, these two teams are going to play again on Tuesday in the quarters or whatever it is, of the NBA Cup. So that is a money on the table game that gets you to Vegas when they play on Tuesday. Does anything factor into that tonight?
A little possum game, if you will. Play possum, little vanilla.
Yeah.
2 scoops of vanilla. Just play it straight. Fascinating, Hank. I love the thinking outside the box, Carver. I don't know, man. I think these teams are too competitive, and obviously they're not going to dribble up the ball like the 1950s and just like little Benny Hill music playing. They're still going to run their offensive sets and all that good stuff. So I will. I'll still lean the dog here.
Okay, still lean with the dog for tonight. What else do we got tonight that we can give you? Let's go to one of your favorites, the Suns. They are in Houston against the Rockets tonight. This is just after 8 o'clock East tip. Rockets minus 10.5, 221.5 the total.
Apparently, they talked about Fight Club. The number one rule, they violated it, and here we are. Gillespie, really, it's his 3-point props at 3.5 now. For so long, it was 2.5 and like even money or plus money. Now it's 3.5. The guy's been an absolute madman shooting threes. But I will say, Devin Booker's expected to be out. That's why this number's come up to 10.5. He's much better off the ball, off the bench, and he's sort of unassuming, right? He's a white guy. He's coming off the bench. You don't want to guard him. But now he's the focal point of the defense. That has me a little worried.
Should a little bit. And I'm looking at it now. So, yeah, they got 2.5 at minus 190. 4 for him, like you said, over 3.5, plus 138 for Gillespie tonight.
Yeah, so when you have small increments, we know this from like hockey team totals, soccer team totals. When the numbers are this small, UFC rounds, right? Like there's big increments of juice between, the 2.5 to 3.5. I just lay off. I think it's a really tough read with Devin Booker out.
It certainly is. Best of the rest quickly. Spurs are in Cleveland against the Cavs. Cavs -4, 239.5 the total there.
Give me the Spurs, man. This Spurs team's really solid. Even without Wemby and Castle, they just move the ball, line change, all that stuff. There's just a lot to like, and it's also a bet against Cleveland. This Cavs team, what are they? 13-10 now,
Yeah.
but they're 9-1 against teams under 500. So they're playing some bully ball, and everyone else 500 or better, 4-9. So they've been a mirage. They're not strong. Now, since the Wemby injury, Spurs have gone 7-2 outright and 7-2 ATS. Extremely well coached. Cavs were the second best team ATS last year in the entire NBA. This year, they're just 7-16. So I think the defense is lacking. They're kind of trying to figure out their offensive identity. They really lean Donovan Mitchell to save the day. I think Spurs +4. Overnight it was 5.5, but I like Spurs +4.
Last night, Doug, I thought I was going to be walking to the window with my Nets +5.5 as the fourth
Oh,
quarter started, and they were up 9, outright up 9 against the Jazz. And then the Jazz proceeded to outscore them 42-20 in the fourth quarter and absolutely blitzed them and ripped up my ticket. So now I'm going after the Jazz tonight, although I don't think that I can because the number's a little too big. 16 for the Knicks at the Garden, 241.
yeah, I was thinking that, catch the Knicks off a flat spot, Jazz no travel. And then I just looked at the Knicks starting lineup. I was like, oh, wow, they could really just blow them out here. This Knicks have a lot of talent. McBride starting. There's some firepower on that team. And the Jazz are not very good. I think you want to lay that kind of lumber, though, against the Wizards. You got to be careful laying against the Jazz. So I liked your initial read. It's just a little tricky there.
Maybe Knicks first half. Knicks come out and smash them early. 8.5 is the first half number.
That's
Yeah,
it's kind of feels like a guessing game there.
that's a guessing game for it. But it's hard to go after them at 16. It's a very big number. Clippers are 2-point favorites in Memphis against the Grizz with a 223.5.
If you can figure out this Clippers team,
No.
Steve Ballmer will hire you, literally. You may not even have to plant a tree to do it. I don't know. I would fade this Clippers team. I think they're annoying. I think last game was a little weird. The play I like is Cam Spencer. If this props get put up late, closer to game time, it's a guy you want to keep an eye on. He's off the bench. He's really sort of finding his groove and his confidence and looking for a shot, whether instead of just being deferential. Grizzlies have a lot of guys like this. They're like obviously Morant's down and they're just not the same. But Grizzlies are gonna. This Clippers defense stinks. The Grizzlies are gonna smack them in some way. Just the problem is if Harden and Kawhi go off, there's not much you can do. The talent gap on paper certainly favors the Clippers. That's why I can't bet it. But don't count out the Grizzlies. They can run up and down. This is no longer the grindhouse.
And the other three, Denver's in Atlanta against the Hawks tonight. They're laying 5 on the road. You've got Philly -1.5 in Milwaukee against the Bucks. And the Bulls are laying 4.5 at home to the Pacers. Those are the other 3 games. Like I said, big night, 12 games in the NBA.
Right. So a couple things. Let's talk about the Bulls. So they were just laying like 4 or 3.5 at Indy. And then they lost outright. So the Bulls are shorthanded. No Kobe White. Some of these guys just play too much. Patrick, blanking on his name, plays too much. Bulls are in a funk, literal funk. I want no part of them. I think the Pacers probably cover, but at some point, the Bulls can't lose every game. So they might win this one. Yeah, I'd be careful with the Hawks game. I like them. I just don't know if Jalen Johnson's playing, and that's a big one. He was a late scratch. They only had 10 guys against the Clippers, and the Clippers wore him out. This Denver team, I mean, look, they're down Gordon. They're down Brown. Now, Murray went off the other night. They have 3 scorers of at least 50 points already this year, 21 games. They've already had 3 different guys. Gordon had 50 on opening night. Obviously, Jokic had a double nickel. And then Murray. I still worry about them in terms of covering big numbers. Hawks feel like the right side in that regard.
There you go. 12 games in the NBA tonight. Lots of fun ones, too. And don't forget, BetRivers has you tonight with the NBA Friday SGP Profit Boost. Log into your BetRivers app or go to BetRivers.com on your account each Friday to receive a profit boost for any NBA same-game parlay. Profit boost is dependent on the number of legs included. See the BetRivers app or the website for full details. NBA Friday, SGP, profit boost. All right, college hoops for tonight. There's really one game that matters tonight, Doug, and it's a good one. Gonzaga and Kentucky. This game is at Rupp, right? Yes, even though they're calling it Music City Madness, this game is at Rupp Arena.
I believe it's in Nashville.
Okay, but maybe it is in Nashville, and they just screwed up because they have on the bottom of the page Rupp, and then it says Music City Madness at the top. I think you're right that the game is in Nashville for these two. Right now, the number, and I will confirm the site, Gonzaga minus 5.5, 160.5 is the total.
You have to take the dog here. It's a little too many points. I do think the Zags are going to bounce back after getting pantsed by Michigan by 40. I just think it's a little too many points. I mean, look, Kentucky is going to get right at some point with Pope and everything. I would think it's this game. Nothing to be ashamed of. The Zags lost a game. I know it was by margin, but I just like that this team has faced Michigan State, has faced Louisville, has faced North Carolina, and the Zags' lone sort of really big games, they got undressed by the Wolverines. It's just too many points. 5.5's a lot. Now, Ken Palm made this number one. Okay. So I just feel like it's too many points.
It is Nashville, as I confirmed. Bad job by the website that I went to that had it listed as Rupp Arena. Really awful job by them. But there you go. Gonzaga and Kentucky, really fun game tonight in college. Other stuff for tonight, you do have UConn playing, and that is a rather large.
I was going to say, you said there's only one big game tonight in college basketball. What are you talking about?
East Texas A&M against UConn, 38 is the number, 141 is the total.
I can honestly say I've never heard of East Texas A&M. This feels like the name of a school in a movie, in a football movie, like where they make it up, where they combine a bunch of words. It's like necessary roughness. I think
this is like
Scott Bakula play quarterback for them. East Texas A&M.
It's like one of the schools in Blue Chips, right? With Novi, and it's like one of those schools that they play in Blue Chips. Is East Texas?
Yeah, Varsity Blues. I think one of the linemen are going there next year. I think it's one of those things. I like the Lions plus the 38. It's a classic sandwich spot for UConn. Okay, just had a nice win at the Fog over Kansas. On deck in a couple of days from now, they got Florida, defending national champs. And then there's old East Texas A&M. As Steve says, this can't be a real school. They played them last year. They won by 31. So I think 38's high. The nice thing about this game is you'll know within the first 3 minutes of whether you're going to win your bet or not, because you'll be able to tell of Bishop Sycamore. Remember that one? Where the big school? They made that up and they played on ESPNU, I think, in high school football.
Yep.
I think I have to take the 38. I just think it's classic flat spot. Danny Hurley's crazy and will be intense, but I don't know if his team will be. This game is in stores. It's not in Hartford, so that's one negative. But I think East Texas A&M is actually not that bad. If you look at who they've played and how they've fared, they're not just collecting a paycheck. I mean, they're 4-3, right? They beat Army by margin. They beat Fairleigh Dickinson. We know them from the tournament. They went to the pit, lost by 22, but still played Hawaii as well. So this is a team that's this might be one of those schools that changed their name, that we've heard of them before. So I really feel you're right. It is blue chip or necessary roughness to go even farther back of movies.
Yes, what a film with Scott Bakula.
Yeah, Scott Bakula played quarterback for them, I believe, in the 80s.
Rob Schneider did the announcing of the play-by-play. Kathy Ireland was the kicker.
How do we forget it? Dan Deerdorf was on the call a few times.
And how could I not say that you also have the Skyline Chili Crosstown shootout tonight between Cincinnati and Xavier in a very short number.
That's a rivalry.
It is a big rivalry, and maybe Richard Pitino gets his first big win with Xavier in the Crosstown game against Cincy. You like something in the UAB Drake game too.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a tricky spot for UAB to be traveling to Drake. Gotta love the Drake. And so this line's come up from 1.5. I just think it's a really tough ask for the Blazers. Drake should have some nice home cooking. If you need a lean, you need some action, some college hoops, and you don't want to wait for East Texas A&M, I'd play the Bulldogs minus the 2.5.
Bulldogs minus the 2.5 in that one. Now, I will tell you, there are monster games this weekend. I mean, I'll just ring a few off to you. Louisville and Indiana are playing. I know that's in Indy. Duke and Michigan State at the Breslin. Iowa State and Purdue. Illinois and Tennessee. That game's in Memphis. Ole Miss, St. John's. Auburn, Arizona as well on Saturday. You've got just tons of great games this weekend in college basketball.
They really should have waited a week for this because
Yeah.
there's so much college football on. How about Indianapolis, the center of the sports world, right? You got the Big Ten championship game with IU, and then other fans will be going to the basketball game as they host Louisville. Now, that one's not at on campus. That one's in Indianapolis,
Yes,
so that's nice. That's a
Indianapolis.
nice long day for fans there, but that's such a matchup. I've gone back and forth on that game. Part of me thinks Michigan opens up a can on Rutgers. I know they've had a week or so of everyone telling them how great they are, but I also think they're not number one team in the country, so they could be mad and taken out on Rutgers or just lost by margin at home to Purdue. So I think the Wolverines could smack them. That has my attention. Duke, Michigan State, man. From what I'm hearing, the under is the play. Both
Ooh.
teams methodical. Breslin Center and Izzo. Duke, you got those freshmen, little different coming into the East Lansing in December. That's sort of a high total at 139.5. So I like that. Purdue probably ekes it out and covers over Iowa State. They've been really impressive, and they have a lot of size to go along with great backcourt play with Braden Smith. So Purdue's probably the right side. I'm a little all over the place. I need to think about some of this, but these games should be awesome across the board.
And God bless and good luck to all those 21 and 22-year-old Indiana seniors who are going to try to pull the all-day affair in the city of Indianapolis and make the basketball game in the afternoon and then go to the football game at night. And we'll see how they're doing around 2 a.m. So nice job by them. Good
Drink
weekend.
water, kids.
Drink water. Always hydrate while you're going for a day like that. Hockey, there's only 5 games tonight. And here's what we have this evening. The Devils and the Knights are on NHL Network, I believe. I have no feel here, Doug. The Devils have been tough to gauge since Hughes has been out. They're dogs at home against the Knights, but I don't think I can trust the Knights. I know they've won a couple games now here and they've played a little better, but I'm still not quite there yet to lay 132 with them on the road at the Rock. So not really a big fan of that game tonight. I mean, the Stars have a huge number against the Sharks. It's like almost -3 Bills. I think the only thing that really catches my attention tonight is the over in that Utah-Vancouver game, which is at 6.5. Vancouver, like we said the other day, they're up there with Toronto, one of the 2 or 3 teams with the highest to the over this year. They just had a run of about 11 or 12 in a row to the over. Utah just put 7 on Anaheim the other night, and they kind of go up and down with streaks of unders and overs, so maybe we get them at a good time. That's really it for me, Doug, is that over in Vancouver.
Good to know your limitations on slower nights or what needs to be a slower night. But yeah, I'm with you there. Look, sometimes hockey doesn't, the cookie crumbles the wrong way. You got to be careful. And so sometimes you got to go back to old reliables. I mean, the other night we talked about the Islanders, they scored a bunch, right?
Oh,
Ducks,
Colorado.
I think Ducks Caps over is the only game that caught my eye. I also think the Stars win easily, probably puck line.
Win easily. You know what? The Ducks Caps game, you know how much I love the Ducks, but they were so bad to me the other night, losing 7-0 to Utah, that I couldn't take them tonight in the plus money spot. And Washington also they're the hottest team in the NHL. I mean, they've won, I think it's 10 out of 12, 7 in a row. So I don't think I want to get in front of Washington, but maybe you're right about that over. -120 to over 6.5 too. So they're expecting some goals tonight at the Duck Pond. So that could be a fun way to play it for you. So light night in the NHL on a Friday. We have so many other things that we discussed.
I think we're covered.
We're
across
covered.
the board. Ooh, I didn't realize the end of the show sneaking up on us. I thought we had more time here.
It's time, Doug. It's that moment. Best bets and the Daily Double on Betting Weekly Live. So I will go on my side first. I really feel strongly about this one. We discussed this at the very top of the show when we were doing the college football. This seems like a really good night for James Madison to lay the lumber with Troy coming in this Sun Belt championship game outside chance to make the playoff if Duke ever won tomorrow night. And they are going to want, as you mentioned, style points in it, laying the 23.5 with Jimmy Madison, hoping that they just put a huge number on Troy, like 45-10, 45-7. Smoke them, Doug. I'm taking Jimmy Madison.
I think this is going to be the squarest daily double we've ever had.
Might be.
Laying heavy lumber and then an over. So why not? I think this Boise UNLV game. UNLV is not going to win this game or be hang around in a tight game. Their defense showed up against Wyoming when it was a similar environment, outdoors, cold, but that was because Wyoming's offense and there was serious wind in that game. I think the Rebels are going to be loose on defense, and offensively they can put up points. And yes, Madsen could be rusty, but it's only to a certain degree. And 59.5 is not asking a whole lot. This UNLV offense has showed up every week for the most part. I think we're going to see a lot of points here on the Smurf turf. Just got to avoid some late turnovers, but I think we're good here with the over.
Let's go. So the over, UNLV and Boise State at 59.5. Jimmy Madison minus the 23.5 in the Fun Belt Championship, plus 259 for the daily double tonight, which unfortunately we missed by a half last night with the LSU women against Duke. There it is from Steve. Tough loss by a half point on the daily double. Gibbs receiving yards, a big winner for him. And some people did get 15.5, which is excellent. I know that some people did get that, but we came up just by a half, but not tonight. Tonight, double college
21,
football.
Up 21, 2.5 minutes to go. They don't score again, give up a 3.
And they spotted them a 14-1 lead to start the game. 14-1 Duke out of the gate. Oh, just unlucky. All right, we get it tonight. Daily Double, Betting Weekly Live, heading into the weekend. Of course, we will be back on Monday, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. Pretty good Monday night game. Eagles-Chargers, Doug, for us on Monday when we come back. Good NBA night. I know we're going to be getting ready for those NBA Cup quarters on Tuesday and Wednesday next week as well. And also, Doug, when we come back Monday, we will know the matchups in the college football playoff. Who will be playing who? Who has the buys? I'm sure we'll have nothing to discuss there.
Everything will be settled. Yeah, it'll be peace moving forward. Turn the page.
No controversy whatsoever of who was left out on Sunday in the college football playoff. Doug, have a great weekend. Everybody out there, have a great weekend. Great job by everybody all week long. Betting Weekly Live, part of the Betting Weekly Studios, Bet Rivers Network. Have a great weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday.